There's a significant truth to be understood when it comes to building teams, whether it's a team of one or two or it's a team of 30 or 40. When it constantly comes up that a certain individual has a problem with another individual, you have to ask the question, what's causing the problem? That's kind of a duh, right? But as John Maxwell says in several of his leadership books, if Bill has a problem with Bob, and Bill has a problem with Sue, and Bill has a problem with Tom, and Bill has a problem with Julie, Bill might be your problem. What if you're Bill? I'm J Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast. There's a truth in team development and staff development. It seems to be that if it's a gigantic company, we call it staff development, as if we can only develop the whole staff all at once. And that may be true when you're talking about universal objectives that you have to train throughout the entire company for the sake of consistency of culture, like diversity or inclusion or sales objectives or internal processes, where everybody has to be on board with the same thing. But then sometimes there's this more of a micro look at training within a staff. Maybe the staff is 3,000, but the team is only 20 or 30, or maybe even the team is only 8 to 10. And sometimes we take exactly the same content and bring it in and they say, well, this is team development or team training, or even it's just about building teamwork. And there may be some truth to that. And sometimes we'll take that same thing and we'll work just with one individual and it's exactly the same content and it's exactly the same process. And one may be a little more interactive because there's 5 people in the room or 35 people in the room or 3,500 people in the room. But the reality is the content isn't that different. The delivery methods may be a little bit different. The process may be a little bit different. But the reality is we're still delivering the same content, and believe it or not, with the same goal or objective in mind, and that is to make better people. Because sometimes Bill is the CEO, and sometimes Bill is a solopreneur, and sometimes Bill is the department head, or he's one person in a team of 10. But if Bill has a problem with everybody, what really needs to be changed, transformed, impacted, redirected, trained up, is Bill. And Bill is a people. And if Bill has a problem and Bill is a people, then personal growth and development is a really good answer for that problem. But sometimes that training can't be so focused and specified on one individual, because really the problem is a culture problem where it's more elaborate within the organization, or it's had residue, it's had impact within the organization that really needs to work out over time. When I got into this space of personal growth and development, I started at about 20 years old. I read my first John Maxwell book while I was in the Air Force at 20 years old, maybe at the oldest 22 or 23. And I've been a constant studier and researcher of personal growth, sometimes on the spiritual side, sometimes only on the leadership side, sometimes on the communication side. As you can see behind me, I spend a lot of time reading books, and I really enjoy it. It's one of my favorite pastimes, to learn and to grow and expand myself. I realize that's not a focus for a lot of people. For a lot of people, it's a very narrow area of learning. It's enough to get their degree. It's enough to stay on top of their game in their industry. But personal growth, personal development, teamwork, team leadership, these are not things that are high on their level of priority. And that's when you need a coach, or at minimum a trainer, to come in and just kind of refresh us on human interaction, to bring to mind some things that maybe we've only thought but never heard someone else say, for that collaborative agreement to go, you know what, I've been thinking that for a long time, and you're right, that needs to change, whether it's in me or it's in the team. So as a John Maxwell coach, that's one of the things that I do. But I realize that not everybody sees a deep value in that until they back up for a minute and ask themselves, how would this change or transformation impact my income? Not just my own personal paycheck, as in it might break me out of this mold of I've been stuck in the same job level for 4, 5, 6 years. I have had coaching clients who said straight up, I've been told I won't get a raise until I become a better communicator. Sometimes what you need is a coach. You need an outside source, not just someone internally who can tell you this is what you need to do to improve your job, but someone who can sit down with you and listen to the ways that you think and the things that you believe and the things that you say and help you realign some of those into a stronger direction. If you need that, whether you're Bill or you're on Bill's team or you're the HR person at Bill's company, whether you got 3,000 people or 35,000 people or 3 people, the purpose for leadership development, team development, attitude training, communications training is to make better people. And I'd be glad to serve you in any one of those ways. I'm J Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast for Tell It Like It Is TV. Have a blessed day.